Hey guys, Brian from Boas here. About a month ago, back in late May, I had my first Redtail Boa litter of the season, which is also my earliest Redtail Boa litter I've had of all time, really. And this is a Suriname true Redtail Boa. It was actually, I wasn't quite expecting it, and I was in the middle of a bunch of things, so unfortunately I couldn't record the, looking at the babies and taking them out, and like I often will do with some of my Boa litters, just to share with you guys. Today I'm going to give you guys an update on that litter and show you some close-up footage of the beautiful babies. I'm also going to show you the parents, and this of course is the mother of the litter. So she is a 2016 holdback animal born here. She's got a lot of really nice pink coloration and really cool kind of aberrant jagged looking saddles. So this female was actually bred to a Prometheus line male, who I'll show you in a few minutes towards the end of the video. But she had a relatively small litter. It was 5 babies and a few slugs. So it was her first time litter. Often the first time litters aren't all that big. But the babies are really beautiful looking. And I have them in separate tubs, and they've all fed a couple times. Interestingly, with these babies, they didn't all shed. When they typically do. Typically baby boas will shed at about a week and a half of age, but not all these guys shed. So I've seen sometimes the baby boas actually will skip the first shed cycle, and they go about a month and a half or so before their first shed. And this isn't anything to be concerned about. It does happen sometimes. So yeah, so I'm going to get out my close-up lens now, and we'll take a look at these beautiful babies. This first baby from my recent litter of Suriname is definitely a knockout. This one really has a lot of the Prometheus line influence. You can see the kind of blocky saddles, but they're also kind of a little bit aberrant, and he's got a lot of background markings in contrast. And then look at that tail. It's just a super long, super bright red tail. This one is definitely a knockout. It's going to be definitely a top shelf animal. And here's the close-up. You can see some of his beautiful markings. And although all my boas kind of take after both parents, if you look closely, this one definitely favors the father, who was from the Prometheus bloodline, who I'll show you in a minute. He's really got that look. A little bit of influence from his mother, but I would say this guy, I would say probably 80% of his looks came from his father. So he's just going to be a stunner as an adult. And he hasn't moved very much, so maybe I can kind of do a panning shot of his whole body. There you can see his beautiful tail and the peak saddles, and just a great looking true Redtail Boa from Suriname. And for our next contestant on the Boa is right, we have another real knockout. And this one actually, I would say, has an equal blend of the traits of both of the parents. He's definitely got that Prometheus bloodline look with the high contrast and the peaky looking saddles. And look at that tail, man. It's just awesome. But he's got like this really beautiful pinkish tone to him as well, which I think he definitely gets from the mother. So this is just a great combination of both parents. I say he. I haven't actually sexed these animals yet, so I don't know if they're male or female. I'll probably do that in a week or so after they have their next meal. But just a gorgeous looking animal. Now I'll do a close-up with a panning shot so you can take in the beautiful markings and pattern of this animal. So this is actually one of the animals which has shed. The other guy I showed you, the first one, he shed also. The others in the litter actually haven't shed, and I just looked at them. Some of them are going into shed now, so they're kind of opaque looking. And here's a side shot of this beauty. Hopefully that'll give you a better appreciation of his or her pink coloration, but you just can't beat that tail also. Gorgeous, gorgeous animal. And I love it when the best traits of both parents come together in the offspring like this. Here's another amazing looking baby from the recent Suriname Redtail litter. And this is another example of how in the offspring the positive characteristics of both parents can come together in new and exciting ways. And you can see this one has these kind of really almost cross-shaped saddles, I would say. Kind of long and thin, and then a lot of pink, and of course the long red tail. And here's the close-up. You can see all the background markings and how contrasty this animal is. Just a really beautiful looking Suriname Redtail Boa. Finally, one last boa. This isn't one that hasn't shed yet, and I'm a little reluctant to show you this guy because his colors, or her colors, are really muted right now. But you can see just how beautiful this one looks, and again has that beautiful Prometheus look to him or her, and these peaky saddles, and look at that long tail. It looks kind of dark right now, but it's going to get quite a bit lighter once he or she sheds. And there's a close-up look of the full glory of this baby Prometheus bloodline, true red tail. I'll just give you guys a panning shot, and that tail is just has the amazing look. The beautiful bright deep red blotches that are going to be quite a bit brighter after this one has his shed. So those were a few of my recently born Suriname Redtail babies. I thought I'd end the video by showing you guys the father of the litter. This guy is a 2016 Prometheus bloodline holdback, and I would say this animal is about as close to the original Prometheus as I've seen in any of my babies. He's just, you know, gorgeous looking animal. You can see he's got this kind of dirty looking background, lots of freckles and smudges and background markings, but a really high contrast animal, you know, beautiful peak saddles, and then of course he's got the long red tail as well. And this guy is just a really beautiful looking animal, you know, real top shelf example of a Suriname true redtail boa. I would say this guy, and I have his brother as well, was held back from the 2016 litter, and I would say the two of them are, you know, as much of a spitting image as their famous father as I have in my collection. So hopefully this guy can keep the beautiful looks going. You can see how speckled his belly is, and just a really cool look. And this is, as I've mentioned before, what I like about this bloodline. They're not all clean and, you know, washed out looking. This is kind of what you would imagine a boa constrictor would look like lying on the rainforest floor. You would expect it to have more of a busy, you know, not quite so neat and clean pattern. And, you know, he's trying to get up to the rafters. You may have noticed in my videos, my snakes are always trying to go up. There's some rafters right above me, and they always want to climb, which, you know, gives me a bit of a workout. I just wanted to end. I've been getting a lot of questions from you guys about the babies and interest in possibly acquiring some of the babies. I would say they probably have about a month to go. I just want to make sure they've all shed and had a few more meals and everyone's healthy and ready for their new homes. So stay tuned to this channel. I'll probably release videos as I get closer to putting some of these animals on the market. I probably will list them on Fauna Classified at some point, but I'll also try to keep you guys updated in a video to come, so be sure to stay tuned for that. As always, thanks for watching this video. I hope it was somewhat enjoyable, and enjoy your boas.